All right, man. Let's talk about the movie American Fiction, which, um, which to me was it was kind of messed up in my opinion, um, because of how can I say it? How they marketed the movie. Okay. And one of the reasons how they marketed this movie was it was released in September 2023. Right. Now I went to go see another movie. I can't remember what it was. It might have been damn, I can't remember what that movie was. Um but I went to see it. I seen Mean Girls 2 wasn't worth the review, to be honest. I didn't really like it. But it was another movie I went to go see. I can't put a finger on it, but nonetheless, I was going to see the other movie, and they did a preview for this movie, right? Beekeeper. That's what I went to go see. Great movie by Jason Staple. I did a review. I put it in the end cards, right? So that's what I went to go see, right? And they did a review for the movie, and everybody was like, "Ooh, I want to see that." And they said, remember, the Beekeeper came out in January 2024. They said only in theaters in December for this movie, right? Remember, in January, we all like in the theater, like, what the F? You know what I'm saying? Then, okay. Then, right before that, Tom Business told me go see it. They showing it on their select movie theaters. They only had it at the movie theater I've never heard of in the deep, wealthy suburbs in around Detroit, which is West Bloomfield. And I know somebody that live out that way. He said he had never heard of the theater it was at. So they didn't market this movie when it was in select theaters and at least movie theaters in my neighborhood. They had it out there with the white folks. You know what I'm saying? But obviously Jeffrey Wright is gonna be up for Academy Award for Best Actor. Shout out to Erica Alexander. I don't know much about Issa Rae, but a lot of people like her. She's a very beautiful woman. Tracy Ellis Ross was in it, and John Ortiz was in it. If you see a little bit of the uh, the cast, and Erica Alexander is still a beautiful woman, by the way. I know she played uh, in the Wu-Tang American Saga on Hulu, which that's hard. They wrapped that already up, and I think ODB is supposed to be getting his own. Hold on. I know that's gonna be playing that. So we go to Wikipedia and read everything, right? And he supposed to be getting his own spinoff in that. So it says American Fiction is a American comedy-based comedy drama film written and directed by Cord Jefferson. Okay, um, his features his feature directorial debut based on the 2001 novel uh, Eraser by Percival Everett. The film follows a frustrated novelist professor who writes an outlandishly stereotypical black book as satire only for the book to be published to high sales and praise. It stars, we already went over that. So, an American Fiction previewed at the Toronto International Film Fest in September 8th, 2023, where it won the People's Choice Award. It received a limited theatrical release by Amazon MGM Studios on December 15, 2023, with expansion on December 22nd, 2023. It received positive reviews from critics and Wright's performance earning widespread acclaim. It was named one of the top 10 films of 2023 by the American Film Institute and has received numerous accolades at the 96 Academy Award. It earned 5 nominations, including Best Picture, Best Actor, right? Um, and Best Supporting Actor, Brown, his brother, as well as 2 nominations, 81st Golden Globe Awards, and won the Best Adapted Screenplay at the 29 Critics' Choice Award. All right. So, and if I was a Batman, you know what I'm saying? If somebody gonna win an award from this, it's gonna be his brother, Sterling K. Brown. He was a Clifford Ellison in this movie, and to me, because he was gay. He was a gay brother. Um, they didn't show gay man on man scenes. Only when they walked in the house, he's supposed to have it left, and he had some dudes in the house, and he was, doing blow on the table. Now, I'm not. I just read you the plot or just the synopsis of the movie. Now, you know, from my standpoint of view, um, from my standpoint of view on the movie, okay, it was a good movie. It pretty much kind of started off. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it started off with him, basically being in the classroom as a struggling writer. He got hired into a university, and in that university, he taught like an African American class, whatever, like that, and and um and he offended white students, and apparently he was seen as an angry, black professor, a has-been writer, which he wrote these books and nobody was reading his books, right? Now Issa Rae came in or whatever, and Issa Rae came in, and she came in as a black female author, and they did a book signing. And nobody was at their book convention. Nobody came because everybody was at Issa Rae's book convention. Uh, you know, her name was Santara Golden in the movie, and she wrote this outlandishly ghetto book. And a lot of white people, black people was there, and she did some reading on the book. Yo, I'm Tyrone, and I'm paraphrasing whatever, or just kind of give you a vague view of it. And he seen that her vague view of a little insert for her book. That's what people was writing. They suspended him from the university for being too offensive, and then it turned out his mom was going through Alzheimer's, and they needed some bread. You know, and his family didn't have it. His brother went through a divorce, his sister went through a divorce, and at the end of the day, his mother had Alzheimer's and they had no money. Dad, I think their dad had passed away, and he kind of found out his dad was messing with a white woman on the low, and everybody knew but him. And apparently, he was the only one who had a very close relationship um, with his father. Everybody else didn't like him, and he didn't want to go back and see his family in Boston, but he did, and you know what I'm saying, but he did. Um, and they ended up getting a little bit closer, a little bit more, and he kind of ended up burying some demons, taking care of his mom and all that. He met Erica Alexander, like the one from Living Single, whatever, and they started kicking it. I'm not going to explain that and ruin the movie, but long story short, after kind of hearing Lisa Ray's insert of reading her book and how people loved it as a joke, he wrote a very, very stereotypical ghetto book. And then he gave it to Johnny Ortiz, like his manager, and you know, he told him to publish it as a joke, but it ended up, they end up blowing up. He ended up getting $750,000 for the book, and then the book continued to blow up. He ended up getting $4 million for the TV right for the movie rights. You know what I'm saying? Um, and and what was so funny about it is he had to like cover his name, so he basically wrote the book under a different name because he didn't want that book attached to his name. And he had to do these secret meetings where they couldn't see him, only on the phone or whatever. And then they had to meet him in person. He had to like, dress up and all this type of stuff. And good event, and eventually he got mad that people liked the book, but he needed the money. And he ended up having to fess up at the, matter of fact, let me rewind. They end up putting together a book committee, award committee, and they had to vote on the books, right? So everybody, long story short, voted on for his book. It was called something else, but he made them change it to fuck, right? And his book ended up winning the award, but he voted against the book to win an award. And he sat down with Issa Rae character, and he asked her like, "Why would you vote for this? And why would you write things like this book?" Because they still don't know he wrote the book yet. And she told him basically, She caters to her audience. That's what she says. She basically says she caters to her audience. And she broke it down to him and said, if I write a book that don't sell, nobody like it. And this stuff is selling. So I'm catering to my audience. You know? And at the end of the day, he had to respect that. And he ended up winning. And then, the guy, they named him for the award. And obviously the guy wasn't real. He was at the war ceremony. He stood up and he told everybody that it was him and all this. And then it kind of goes to another place where he goes to another place. Long story short, the books become successful. And it's a lot of little just I won't say it was more than vague where I went over that, but it was a really, really good movie. You know what I'm saying? It was a really good movie. I see why his character is up for, the best, actor at the Oscars. You see why. The acting was great. It was great to see you know, a comedy, sophisticated comedy is kind of what I would say. It kind of like Seinfeld, but actually funny. Yeah, I said it. Um, but uh, but yeah, man, on the scale of 1 to 10, I give this movie a good 8, a solid 8. I really enjoyed it. I had to support it. Tom Business, go check his channel out. Tom Business Sports Entertainment kept telling me to go see it. And what's so funny is, let me give y'all a little another little nugget. Uh, real quick. Here's another movie uh that's coming out with David Allen Greer and the guy that played in the Detective Pikachu. This brother played in this one, and it's called. And I seen these previews at the show. It's called The American Society of Magical Negroes. So you see all the Rotten Tomatoes is already down, and his name is Justice Smith. So I'm gonna go see this too. So it's a young man gets recruited into a society of magical black people who dedicate their lives, to making white people's lives easier. Although initially enamored with his new powers, he began to question the value of using his supernatural means do the very thing he felt obligated to do his whole life, and that's make white people comfortable. And basically, David Allen Greer was his mentor, and this and basically was telling him that why it was important to keep white people comfortable and under control. So I thought it was an interesting movie title. I'm gonna go see this one too. So shout out to David Allen Greer. He's still doing this thing. Many years later, man, it's still funny as hell, even in the preview. So check out my movie review. Be on the lookout for the American Society of Magical Negroes if you want to see that. Love this movie. Shout out to everybody that was involved in it. Jeffrey Wright, Tracy Ellis Ross, beautiful Well, Tracy Ellis Ross is beautiful too. Beautiful Issa Rae and the beautiful Eric Alexander. So shout out to everybody. I give it an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it, and I think Jeffrey Wright's performance was damn near flawless. So appreciate y'all. Check out the movie review playlist. Peace.